Hello, dear viewers. Thank you for tuning into our podcast today. My name is Sami Hussein, and I'm going to be your host for our talk, where we'll be discussing educational excellence and what it takes to help students get there. I am an educational practitioner myself and an enthusiast for a decade on, but I think I'm lucky today with two distinguished guests from the International Pioneers Academy, an up-and-coming riser in international education. So, with me first, Ms. Rasha, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Mr. Sami?
I'm good. How are you finding the weather?
I think it's starting to be winter, finally. Alhamdulillah, it's all a bliss.
Definitely cold.
It's definitely cold, yes.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you come here?
I made a career shift to education. I have a business degree, but when you first try the education field, it's like more like a mission than it's a career. So I think, alhamdulillah, bifadlillah, everything's prospering, and so that Allah will be with us all.
So, International Pioneers Academy. How did you come to this place? How did you start off? How long has it been?
And in total, I have 15 plus years in international programs experience, yes. 10 of which are in International Pioneers Academy. I started there as an international program coordinator, and I was a business teacher as well, and among other tasks and quests according to the designation from the school. So it's a full package.
So basically A to Z, you've done everything there.
Alhamdulillah, yes, and I'm proud of it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
So as an up-and-coming school, one in international education, you being a foundational member, being there for a decade,
True.
what would you say has made the program unique and made it successful?
Any new program or any new initiative requires the belief in the vision and the idea, and that there should be a greater value and greater outcome for the well-being of students or our generation students in particular. So in IPA, we launched the international program in 2012. We started with the British program from Cambridge International Education, and we had another accreditation from Edexcel, Pearson Edexcel, in 2017. And it was the initial step for progress. And ever since International Pioneers Academy was starting to get recognized by the students, teachers' efforts, the administration, everyone should have this same vision, same pursuit, and same endeavor, so that they all achieve the one added value. It's for the benefit of our students' learning.
You know, it's interesting when you mention values. Values is something that's kind of forgotten now. When you think of, the modern generation, Generation Z, they're all looking about the end result, right? How are they going to become rich, and how are they going to become famous? So how have you guys kept the values in this program?
We, International Pioneers Academy, have been like a designated destination from parents, because we are striving to keep the cultural and Islamic teachings from our Islam. We have Diwan al-Huffaz, a daily practice from teachers and students. We have also values program in which the school offers one main value per semester, and it's embedded inside classrooms. And we add another value in the second semester where students and even teachers practice this value, so that, for example, glorifying Allah or responsibility, something like that, so that students can really see, practice, and move it forward with other people, move it around each other. So this is how you bring values to life again, by practicing and provide the best practice and the best as possible, the best environment as possible, hopefully.
Have you found that those values have been a key contributor to the excellence that the school has achieved and that the students have achieved academically or
Yes.
individually? Have you found that there's been significant contribution by these values
Thank you for this
instilled?
question. It's very important because it acts more like a moral compass for our students and even our teachers, because it's not only by knowledge or even skills only. You have to have this incentive, you have to have this relation, why initially we were here, what is required from us as a human being, as students, as adults, teachers, administration, parents. It's also always gives you this poking that we should go back to the right track. And there's always benefit in reminding over and over again. It has been a good direction and paved the path for our students to always have a clearer vision, where to look for and how, because it will also provide the means as well.
As an international school, I imagine that you compete with students, or your students compete with students all around the world. What alternative programs and pathways do you have for students that are looking at alternative places to continue their education?
In our school, we offer both the British GCE program and the American HSD program as well. It was also launched in 2017. So we try to provide different opportunities for students according to their different set of skills and requirements. This puts International Pioneers Academy in a advantage and competitive spot where students have and can choose whatever they like according to their trends or skills. Of course, that's set separately when you set with the coordinators and set for different placement tests and everything. And what's the final plan for the students, whether you want to set for or travel to USA or any other Western or abroad countries in abroad. It's different. It's because we try and we strive to give this holistic emphasis on what does the student need to have, not only in school, but also after school. Because even in college, university, there's a certain set of skills that's required from a student that is not read in books. It has to be experienced and practiced. And this, we're trying hard, even with teachers and designated programs in school, to arm students with these kind of skills. So, for example, in the British program, there are different set of skills required from students, like to be engaged, to be responsible, to be committed, to be respectful, to be patient. It's because it's all combines and forms the character, the end character of the student. Like it's the academic attainment, after all, at the end. It's not by how much do I memorize or how much do I know. It's how can I use this knowledge that I've gained and use it in problem solving, critical thinking, maybe coming up with new knowledge or new challenges. This is what we need at this kind of stage, and this is what IPA offers.
It's so interesting. I want to take you back to something you mentioned a moment ago. You said holistically. And I'm wondering, you've mentioned a number of skills that you said students need to possess as they go forward in their educational journey. And you have the values that you've incorporated into your programs. Are there other components that go into this holistic approach for students at your school?
Yes. There are academic-based skills. There are skills that require characteristics. Like it's different from each student to another, but there are the level of commitment, the student, how can he tackle and handle the knowledge that he is reading into himself now and absorbing now. So it's not like mere numbers and words. It's how to handle it, how to analyze, how to add extra to that piece of knowledge that he had, to conclude, to come up with a new piece of information that he can use and apply in answering or apply in life, because
Yeah.
it's a skill-based curriculum.
You know, and that's so interesting because in today's day and age, Generation Z, all of their answers are at their fingertips. And so they're always just skipping straight to the end answer. And I mean, how do you blend those two worlds where students are jumping straight to success and skipping all the skills that they need to develop along the way, leaving all of the values back at home? And it seems like many schools are going more towards what Generation Z is interested in, where you guys, from the way you're describing it, seem to be kind of pulling back to an older-fashioned method that involves all of the different characteristics that would go into making a person successful. How did you come to that conclusion? What brought you down that path instead of the easier road, which would be just to teach them how to, you know, achieve the best result? You seem to have taken a different approach. How did you guys come to that conclusion?
You see, it's not an easy task, and it's not a quick task as well, because it takes time. We start with students from grade 1, from first grade till the 8th grade. So the British program is divided into levels. We have the primary level, we have the lower secondary level, we have the upper secondary, and the high school level. So it's divided. It's the knowledge is not the same. The skills are not the same. Each year there's a new there's more depth in what students have learned and what you should show as skills. For example, when students in grade 1 in the primary level, they're not asked to or required to memorize anything. They should reflect on what they have learned through showing what they have understood by pointing, by describing, by drawing. So it's like in their imagination, and they don't have the words, the abstract words to describe it. So they have to know it by their body. They can move, like how the snake moves. They can do this movement. So each set of skills is progressing through the years, and more knowledge is being pushed along the way. There's a certain level of English proficiency students should master, and in the end students are like a sponge. Whatever you push in them, they can absorb and mold into it. But this is where the tricky part comes. So we don't want students to be molded. We want them to have this free space, their own zone, to be creative, to be themselves. They can get the knowledge, but they can apply it the way they want.
And find their own
way. They have their own prints.
Is that something that carries through the different age groups, or is it specific? Is it in the primary years where you have that freedom, or does it carry through into other groups?
Yes, it's in the primary. I think it's more evident because they are students are depending on their senses more than the abstract knowledge they can read and progress. But because learning through touching or hearing, listening, and senses is more, learning through playing is more fun after all, and it's more, they explore themselves, and you can see them, the students, enjoying learning new things by themselves rather than when there's someone is give them a discipline or order, you should do and you should do that, and this is human nature.
And I would imagine that by giving them that freedom and that choice and that independence, it's probably something that would contribute to the success that you're seeing now in your later yeared students and as they graduate and they go forth. And I'm not an expert on the field, but I have read of studies that speak on this topic, that students that have more freedom of choice and greater sensory exposure, they end up developing more independence and greater resilience, and it leads to ultimately greater academic success. I don't know if that's something that you have experienced yourself or that you agree with. What's your opinion on that?
Actually, this is one of the advantages of the British program, because the curriculum is based on skills, set of skills, rather than knowledge. The students should know how to master the skill of reading, researching, teamwork, project-based learning. Students should know how to solve problems. They have to use active learning techniques like brainstorming or any other spontaneously teachers can use inside a class.
Right.
So this triggers and paves the way for students how to absorb and learn this new knowledge. And eventually, we cannot, and whether we agree or not, there's part of it is an assessment based, where there is an ongoing assessment, summative as well as formative assessment. They're both an essential part of the student's learning, and it should be assessment for learning rather than learning for assessment, because this is how you fill in the gaps, and this is where students should reflect on their learning and learn from their mistakes, or learn they can do better according to what they know and what they want to learn. So it's different. What I learn is different from what you learn or what my other colleague can learn and can actually apply. So the British program offers that in a really direct way. There's also, we offer the checkpoint exams in grade 6 and in grade 8, where students actually sit for external exams, but they are conducted inside the school in English, math, and science. They are being assessed in what they have learned since grade 1 until grade 6 or grade 8, or at that certain stage, the knowledge and the set of skills that a student has now possessed, he's now being assessed on how much do you know, or how much can you show what you have learned. It's not like a right or wrong answer, but yes, he has to show the correct answer, because there's writing, there's listening exam, there's math, paper 1, paper 2, there are multiple papers. And students are being trained inside classrooms as well, because it's part of discipline and how students should learn eventually. There are set of skills, but there are also some knowledge that they need to master, because on that depends on their future. The students after grade 8 can choose to study in a British program or the American program, and we make sure that students are ready, whether they chose any of them, so they're ready after grade 8 to choose and navigate and start their high school according to what they see is best for them. We conduct many orientations, and we try to give a sense of direction for parents and students. This is what required from you at this stage, or this is what required from you as a student in the British program. You should show commitment. It's not that you should ace it all the time. It's not that you have to be an A-star student or you're not allowed to be in the British program. No, we should give focus on the A-level students, the high achievers, as well as the medium level achievers, because this is their capabilities. This is what they can do. But I can help them to do more, to do their best. They're also high achievers in their own way. They need to know themselves. Everyone has a bless or have a special trait in something, but our teachers and our duties as schools, we need to hit the button and trigger that, see where the students can excel and master.
Okay. So the checkpoint exams that you mentioned, these happen in middle school?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And from a previous conversation that we had before, you hinted that your expertise is in the British program.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how do you use the checkpoint exam and lead them into the British program?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This checkpoint exam is a skill-based as well. It measures how the students can use, for example, English language, the level of English language usage the students have, the amount of vocabulary he possesses, how can he form well-structured sentences, and how can he write descriptive, formative, or whatever sort of writing that he's supposed to.
So it's an English exam?
It's one of them is an English exam. There are many exams: English as a first language or a second language, mathematics, science as well.
Okay.
For the math, there are certain sub-strands under each exam where students are assessed by skill, like the ability to make accurate calculations, the ability to extract data from a written problem, question written in words, extract other, or use current inputs to come up with a conclusion. For sciences, there's the scientific inquiry strand that students should know how to search and look for answers scientifically and prove it scientifically. They go to science labs and where they should practice observation and monitor the experiments and see how many factors and which factors can affect the flow of the experiments and what should have gone worse or better. So they should have this kind of practical work
Right.
as well. So it applies for all subjects, English language and math and science. It's part of their learning so that they can use coursework and practical tests or assessments during their study in school, starting from grade 1 until grade 12, by the way. And this also reflects on they know themselves. Eventually, they receive a letter of achievement stating which skills the students mastered and which skills the students need to focus more for further improvement. And this also gives a school a proper feedback. Are we going on the right track, or there's something we're missing? Like we had this after post the pandemic, we discovered there's some lack and deficiency in writing with students. So we had to give more focus on writing styles and asking students to write draft 1, draft 2, third draft. Students tend to, unfortunately, not to read as much as they used to before, and this is another area that we need to give more focus, because as you put it, the Generation Z wants the easy coming, but we know that nothing lasts forever, so we have to have this instilled, well-established knowledge and thinking. They have to know how to think, what to think, and how to improve their thinking. This is the key. It's like thinking of thinking.
Right. You know, I'm thinking about the students that are in middle school now that are preparing for the checkpoint exams. What should they do if they're planning on continuing into the British program? What should they do in advance? What are the prerequisites? What are the guidelines that you would have? And a lot of students today are wondering about that big question, equivalency. How do I achieve it?
True.
So, I mean, what's the advice you would give them? What should they do if they're in those middle school years and they're looking to pursue British certification? How should they prepare? What should they do? And what are the expectations that are going to be waiting for them when they go in, equivalency-wise, and I don't know, all the other details that go into it? What would you tell them?
Everything is eventually accumulated. Knowledge, skills, good habits, bad habits. So we need to focus on that area as well. So students in the checkpoint can find themselves, if they have the potential, to exert effort on studying, because the British program is not for the high IQ students. It's for students who can exert an effort and actually have a will and a say in changing what they learn and how they're learning. For example, students who are good in math and science and English or any other subject, it's not related to a specific subject, they should know that even as a high school student, now you're responsible for your own learning, your own studying. You need to follow up daily. You need to ask questions to yourself. Am I fully aware of what I've learned today? Ask certain questions that can build this confidence between you and what you're learning. The teachers, definitely, they are facilitators for knowledge and skills. And everything, like students in grade 9, like they're beginners. They're trying to explore themselves. Oh, now I have to learn this. I have to learn this in this way, in that way. So they're still learning. So hiccups are allowed at that stage. But after grade 9, students are on their own, totally like 50-50 on the school and on the students, because it depends on how they learn and what they want to learn. In grade 9, students sit for the IGCSE level, where students sit for 6 to 8 subjects, and they sit for the external exams in the second semester in grade 10. So coming back to the term that you have mentioned, equivalency, what do you mean by equivalency? It is a term that the Ministry of Education is using for students who are studying the British program or even the American program. But for the British program, there are a certain set of requirements students should be doing until he graduates from grade 12 so that he can enter or enroll in Jordanian universities here, either public or private universities. This is called equivalency. So students should finish 12 years of studying. They should sit for minimum 6 IGCSE exams and 2 A-levels. What do we mean by 2 A-levels? Advanced level subjects students study in grade 11 and 12 consecutively. So there's a certain set of plan where we as coordinators are responsible for specifically for running an accurate study plan for each student. It's like a personalized study plan. We ask the students, are you planning to study abroad or study only in Jordan? Because studying abroad has different criteria than studying in Jordan. Students may be required to study 3 A-levels or 4 A-levels, and they can have certain scores if they are aiming to enroll in certain universities. So this also is connected with other students, with the coordinators planning or giving career and university counseling for students. Because it's a one loop, it's connected. Starting from grade 9, everything becomes critical. It's not impossible, but it's critical, where students should be aware what they're studying, where they're studying, with their parents, with the school administrations, any updates from the Ministry of Education, any updates worldwide, like in UK there's the Brexit occurred, many laws and regulations changed, so we have to be aware of them and convey to students who are thinking of enrolling abroad. Different from the US or Canada or the Northern American universities, each has different requirements. So we offer that for students as well. So they need to focus on knowledge-based, and eventually when students graduate from grade 12, whether they chose to be on the scientific stream or the literary stream, there are a certain set of subjects they should be studying, and that is set by the Ministry of Education, and we convey it to students as well, and we have to be very clear with it, starting from the beginning. At the same time, we have to make the opportunity open for all students. I mean, we have to follow up their academic performance. Student insisted on studying physics, but we saw that he's not doing well in physics, so we have to have another meeting and redesign or replan his study plan, maybe change completely for a literary stream or something. So we have to have this contingency plans, or as I say it sometimes, rescue plan, so that this is students' future you hold in our hands. It's very, very crucial, very important.
Right. Well, we're almost out of time. Last thing I would ask is, what are some of the unique things that you guys offer for the British program students? What are some of the services or the special considerations that you offer at the International Pioneers Academy?
From the first, when the parents first step in our school, we have a meeting with the students from grade 1 until 12. But mainly for me, I give more focus on grade 9 and above. I have to follow up their the courses that they have covered, whether they are qualified and have what it takes as students, as a learner, to go into the British program. There are placement tests. We set a study plan, personalized study plan, as I said. We give counseling, career counseling, and university services as well. We help students apply for universities and even scholarships. Each year we have students getting accepted in really highly ranked universities around the world, within the US or UK or Europe or even Eastern or Western Europe, even in Turkey. طبعا other than local universities or even Middle Eastern universities like in Malta or Gulf area. Many of them received scholarships for their achievement, and their because sometimes universities depend on why are you the best candidate to receive this position. So the student has to convince them that I have this to give. I want to be a doctor, or I want to be an engineer because I have this ambition, or I have this incident. I want to help contribute to the greater benefit. So this is what international programs help students achieve. Like they can achieve admission to good reputed universities.
And you guide them in this process.
Yes.
You help them all the way through the journey.
Yes. In universities, they can sit for English language proficiency tests. It can also help them secure a good job opportunities also around the world. Yes, either locally or around the world.
Right. Well, Ms. Rasha, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciated your insight. It was a lovely conversation. I look forward to speaking to you again. And thank you to our viewers that stuck in. And we look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. That was really delightful. I really had a great time too.
Likewise, Ms. Rasha.